Milwaukee lawmakers want to know what's going on inside the jail when someone dies. They say we don't know how much or anything about the last 4 deaths in Milwaukee County last year because the sheriff's department can't investigate itself. Casey Geraldo explains the change they hope to make.
Right now, if somebody dies in jail, only an internal investigation is required. But Senator Larson and Representatives Crowley and Bowen want to see an outside entity come in to investigate those.
We want to make sure that there is transparency for the sake of our families, for the sake of our community, so that there can be trust in our system.
For example, of 4 deaths in Milwaukee County Jail in 2016, 3 had internal investigations. Milwaukee police are investigating the other death.
Currently, Department of Corrections does review deaths at facilities. However, these reviews sometimes don't start for months,
which leaves families without information.
This is actually better for institutions that they operate under the law of transparency than under the law of secrecy, because these individuals are family members, are our loved ones, and they should be cared for as such.
But the lawmakers hope change is around the corner. They want similar standards to those set in 2014 for officer-involved shootings.
What we're doing is expanding the scope of what the law does to include deaths in jails.
Here's what they want to see: 2 investigators from a different department than the one the correctional officer works for. The investigators would give a report to the district attorney. And while they acknowledge the 4 deaths in Milwaukee County, the lawmakers say this happens all over the state, and they want answers. If this bill succeeds, it would allow investigations to be opened up 3 years back in cases where no correctional officer was prosecuted. In Madison, Casey Geraldo, today's TMJ4.
Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark did not respond to our request for an interview on this proposal.
Hundreds of law enforcement officers attended today's funeral for the Wisconsin police detective killed in the line of duty. Chopper 4 flew over the funeral procession for Jason Weiland, a father of 2 girls. The 40-year-old officer and 3 other people were killed last week when a man went on a shooting spree near Wausau.
Someone sacrificed their life to keep our community safe, so we have to pay ultimate respect.
We're all a very close community here with law enforcement and police and fire, and everybody's just really tight.
Funerals for the 2 other victims are scheduled for tonight and tomorrow.
The Milwaukee building inspector murdered in an attempted carjacking was laid to rest today. An interment service was held this morning for Greg Ziskevich. 2 17-year-olds and a 21-year-old are now charged with his murder.
Milwaukee police are investigating the death of a man in a car crash. That car crashed into a building at 20th and North. A 72-year-old man was driving. Police believe he suffered a medical problem before the crash. He died at the scene.
West Bend police arrested a 17-year-old for driving recklessly on his motorcycle. Police tried to stop the teen after people reported seeing him speeding in a residential area and even popping wheelies. The teen sped away from police and ran through stop signs. They later arrested him at his house.
Delavan police need your help finding a missing man. Vito Episcopo is 81 years old. He was last seen leaving his home in Delavan. He has a medical condition and needs medicine every day to stay alive. He does not have his medicine with him.
Milwaukee police are searching for this man who is considered to be critically missing. Corey Adams suffers from PTSD. Adams was last seen Monday morning wearing a black jacket, some jeans, and a gray t-shirt. Anyone who knows any information about his whereabouts is asked to call police.
Republicans say they're not giving up on health care reform. President Trump believes it should not be that hard to get done, despite a major setback in the House last week.
And I know that we're all going to make a deal on health care. That's such an easy one. So I have no doubt that that's going to happen very quickly.
Senator Ron Johnson knows Republicans promised voters they would fix the rising cost of premiums, but Johnson now says it's not just a GOP problem to fix.
I'm afraid that slogan, repeal and replace, really got us in trouble. So now let's be a little more thoughtful. Let's take the time, but it is our responsibility. Democrats created this mess. They also have a responsibility. We ought to be asking them to help us fix this mess.
Johnson says Republicans should stop using the term repeal and replace and concentrate on repairing Obamacare.
Former state Senator Tim Cullen said today he will not run for governor. Cullen told reporters that today raising money for the campaign has been a huge challenge. Cullen is a Democrat and he's also 73 years old.
Fire broke out this morning in a hotel building near the Wisconsin Dells. About a dozen people had to evacuate their rooms at a Country Squire Inn. Dozens of firefighters from Lake Delton and Baraboo helped put out the fire. Investigators are trying to find out how it started. There were no serious injuries.
Brookfield police arrested a woman suspected of robbing a bank. Police arrested Sarah Krause of West Dallas and charged her with robbing the BMO Harris Bank at 124th and Burleigh. Krause made her first court appearance today. Several people called police when they recognized her in this picture shown on TV earlier this week. Well, a first ever honor for a veteran from the Vietnam War.
That story still ahead.
Look forward to seeing my kids' faces, my wife's face.
Also coming up, the gift of a lifetime for an American hero who has risked his life for our country.
And rain is starting to move into southeastern Wisconsin. Already seeing some rainfall down towards Lake Geneva and Janesville and Whitewater. Soon heading for Milwaukee. It's going to be a soggy night tonight. We'll time out the arrival of the rain and how much we're going to expect and who's going to see some snow in your forecast coming up.
Breaking now, 12 people were killed when a church bus crashed head-on with a pickup truck this afternoon just 90 miles west of San Antonio, Texas. It's not clear how many of the dead were on the bus. There was only one person in the pickup truck.
Today is the first National Vietnam War Veterans Day. President Trump signed a law yesterday honoring veterans of the war. Vietnam War veterans were honored today with a wreath-laying ceremony at Wood National Cemetery. All Vietnam veterans at the ceremony received a lapel pin in thanks for their service. Well, a Waukesha veteran received a surprise of a lifetime today.
The veteran thought that he was presenting an award to someone else, but there was a twist. Ben Jordan was there for the surprise.
A dull roar fills the church cafeteria for what was supposed to be a normal Grandparents' Day lunch. Near the back of the room, this shy man in an army cap comes to the front of the crowd to make someone else's day special.
I promised Joe here all that he would need to do is just kind of have to stand here and not speak.
Joe Davis here to surprise another veteran. All of a sudden, Davis becomes the main event.
Joe, the one whom we are recognizing today is you.
We are going to build you a brand new custom home.
A heartwarming gift from Operation Finally Home, an organization that has provided free houses for hundreds of wounded or ill veterans across the country. Tears were followed by hugs for this family that has dealt with both.
It's hard to find the words, but it's amazing.
Davis served 11 years in the Army with 3 deployments to the Middle East. After injuries came Parkinson's disease, ending his career and making simple tasks many take for granted a challenge.
We have a tri-level house, so for him, I mean, that could get complicated in some ways that are